Hello everyone, welcome back to E20 Zone TV, and I am joined by YouTube royalty tonight. I have got West Ham reunited in the house. Before I pass it over to them, I just want to do this. You can find these gentlemen here on Twitter and on all social media outlets, so go and check them out. They're doing some good things, some different things to other West Ham YouTube channels, and yeah, go and check them out. Before I get started, I would like to ask Andy, how are you doing, sir? How was your holiday?
Mate, it was good. It went really, really quick. And first day back at work today, and it's like killed me, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Like alarm went off at 4:45, and that's what time I was getting in. When I was in Ibiza, I'm getting up and going to work. But no, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I am very well, mate. Very well. And Jazz, how are you, mate? You was there Sunday. You see it live. How you been, mate?
First thing, I like the music, and I thought we're back. I thought Andy's probably thinking he's back in Ibiza again, isn't he?
What am I illegal rave? What I was at?
I was getting Andy in the mood. But yeah, we're here to talk about old Declan, and I've got a couple of interesting facts for you, gentlemen. So before I get started, a little couple of trivia questions for the pair of you. And the first one is, how old was Declan Rice when he joined West Ham?
14.
Jazz, what do you reckon, mate?
16.
He was 14 years old, mate.
Yes.
It's signed and
through to the next round.
And the next trivia question is, what was Declan Rice's first appearance for West Ham? Go on, Andy, take it away, mate.
Burnley away, last game of the season.
Carl, Andy's getting good on this old trivia lark, mate, trust me. Declan Rice first ever game was Burnley away, 21st of May 2017. He come on as a sub in the 91st minute for Fernandez. But let's get into it with old Declan, mate. Obviously, he's been a great servant to us, since he's been here. He's been here 8 years now, and even though it don't seem like he's been here 8 years, he is only 22. But I've got a question for the pair of you regarding Declan Rice, and this is the question that I've got: is Declan the best midfielder in the Premier League era at West Ham? And I'm going to start off with Jazz. Is he the best midfielder you've seen in the West Ham shirt?
Best midfielder. So the way, could be tricky, haven't we? You got people like Lampard, but he did most of it after he left us, didn't he? So he doesn't count. The Kanye was more of a forward. Again, people like Carrick and Joe Cole. Again, I don't think they're up to his level at West Ham. God, you're getting there, aren't you? Who else was Bellamy? Again was a forward. Scott Parker was really, really good. Similar position. 3 times Hammer of the Year. But Declan's, what they say, different sauce, isn't he, mate? I can't think of anyone. 92, 93's when the Premier League started. So we had Bishop. Then
you got people like Michael Hughes, Bishop, John Moncur.
Yeah, wingers. Like no, I can't. I don't think so, mate. No, I can't think of anyone. No.
Yeah, James, just for you.
Scott Parker would have been a close one. Scotty done a good service, didn't he? Played. Left it all out there, didn't he? As we say, playing for us. No, this boy, especially at his age, he's always 7.5 out of 10 minimum, isn't he? Every game, and at the weekend, I thought he tried to do too much. And like you said, we'll discuss a little bit more about how we think it's going. But there could be an issue with him. But no, I can't think of anyone that's played that good for us in midfield.
Andy, about you, mate.
I agree. I think he's different class, and In my opinion, I think give him a couple of years, and I think we could even start talking to him. I know we've sort of put it on his shoulders, but the likes of Billy Bonds sort of level, especially if he stays with us for another couple of years, I think he's absolutely outstanding. And credit to him, like he said. And I don't care what anyone says. He loves this football club, and the only way he's leaving is if he says he wants to leave. And at the moment, I can't see him doing that.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I've watched West Ham for a hell of a long time, and even in the 90s, it just doesn't compare. Like, probably the closest player to him is Michael Carrick, but Michael Carrick was better when he left West Ham. If that makes sense. Yeah. Other than that, I've never seen a midfielder who's that good on the ball, off the ball, reading the game, tackling. Right? Some people compare him to sort of like a Bobby Moore type player, the way he tackles and all that, but especially in the Premier League era, I've never seen anyone like that in regards of him. But as I say, like, I just think he's just top class, and I agree with Andy there. I think unless he wants to leave, I don't think he goes anywhere. Here's another question for you, gentlemen. Is West Ham's recent good form and consistent performances down to Declan Rice becoming our new captain? And I'll start off with Andy on that.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, like what we've all said, like, don't get me wrong, I don't want Noble playing as much, and I know we're sort of going off topic. I know it's about Deck, but I didn't want him to play on Thursday, and he played in Crow. But Deck's learning so much off Noble. You can tell the way he talks to the players, the way he comes out, the way he associates with the crowd, and he's got some good leaders in there. And I'm not just saying that Deck don't deserve all the credit, but on Dave and X's podcast, apparently Dawson, he's learning a lot from Dawson as well, which you wouldn't really think it, but apparently he's very vocal in the dressing room as well. And what we ain't had in years is leaders. We've got so many leaders now in that team. And if you think the first year when we moved to the London Stadium, or when Deck was coming through, we had no one, did we? We had Kiarte, he's not a leader. Obiang, not a leader. Gokantor, like the list goes on. And now we've got four. And now we've got four or five who's not afraid to make. Even Antonio, you can sort of say, turning into a leader now. How vocal he is. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think I agree that the way he's took over, he deserves all the credit. But I think there is a number of leaders in there as well.
Jazz, what about you, mate? Do you think Declan Rice becoming our new captain has changed West Ham's mentality?
I think it's that, and there's also obviously David Moyes, backroom team, good kind of signings the last couple of years. So, and Rice, yeah, he's one of the reasons, not the main or the only reason, I think, but certainly, Noble's a good influence around him, I think. And yeah, everyone coming through the door, like you said, you speak to Rice, he's a very likable guy, carries himself well. Hopefully, touch wood, he's not in the media for the wrong reasons. Long may that carry on. But yeah, I mean, a lot of clubs are looking at him, as we know they will do. It's a regular in the England team. So yeah, he's one of the main reasons, not the only one, but yeah, he's definitely one of them. And hopefully anyone coming through the door, they kind of look at him, and especially being captain, they can follow in his example, I think. And even though he's young, yeah, you can see him pointing fingers on the pitch and driving players, especially when we go 1-0 down. He's the first one to clench his fists and tell everyone, come on, we can get back in this. Stay focused. And like you said, yeah, a lot of captains out there. Zuma looks to me to be a leader as well. Dawson. I think Fabianski as well. He's kind of quite experienced now. A lot of them on the pitch, aren't they? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, even Souček, he's been captain in his past. So he can do a job there. Yeah, all over the pitch, isn't it? Really, yeah.
I agree. I'll do say one thing though. Our mentality as a club has changed since he took over. Now, we all loved it, Mark Noble. And listen, Mark Noble's been West Ham a long time, but he's never been world-class, as I keep saying. And Declan Rice is a world-class player. And it's just night and day. When he wasn't there last year, it showed in our performances. Like, he was like a missing link. And for me, ever since he's become captain, we've gone in one direction. That's up instead of down. And it ain't because of Mark, it's not. But I just look at with Declan, he doesn't like losing. And he's got that hunger, and I think we've not seen that in certain players, especially at West Ham for a hell of a long time. But I've got some little stats here for you, gentlemen. So check this out. Premier League record appearances: 137, 5 goals, 6 assists, and 27 clean sheets when he has played. That's not bad, is it? No. And the clean sheets one is the one that I look at because basically that's either a 0-0 draw or win, basically. Do you know what I mean? So
that's nearly a quarter, mate. That's nearly 25%. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And when he's not there, to me, we're just not the same team. Like, obviously, we can't win every game with this man, but he does help us win most games. What do you make of them stats, Andy?
No, it's great, mate. Like you said, 22 years of age. That's just Premier League. Obviously, Europa League it will go up and stuff like that. Obviously, what he's played for England. So, if I might have ruined your next stat if you've got England appearances on your next slide as well. But I was going to say, but yeah, you're probably looking close to nearly 200 games if you probably think of all competitions and stuff like that. What he's played, which is amazing for a 22-year-old, and you just think of. I know you're sort of comparing them like Gerrard and Lampard sort of thing, but the one thing is what does is I know he's got the assist. It's just his goals. If he just had if he was in double figures, I think he goes from there to that like in the world. Not to West Ham, we know how good he is, but what I mean is like. It still makes you laugh now when the Chelseas and the Man Uniteds go, no, we don't need Declan Rice. We've got McTominay and Fred. All right, carry on. Keep thinking that. Do you know what I mean?
That's laughable in itself, isn't it?
You like you said, I don't know whether you saw, I upset a few Man United fans, didn't I, last week? So, I think I'm on their case. So.
What about you, Jazz? What do you think on them stats? That ain't bad for a player who's only been with us 4 years. And he's 4 years in 4 years in the first team, really.
Yeah, and I was saying that he reminds me of Billy Bonds, really. A lot of his game is like that. He started off as a centre half, like Billy, plays in a holding midfielder role, and who knows, towards the end of his career, he might move back to centre back again. Yeah, the only person I can think of quickly who, again, is up to his level and perhaps just a little bit ahead because of who he is Kante, isn't it? He's the only one. He's kind of his role model. I think he can still improve a little bit up to his level. But he was so lucky to have him. There's not many those kind of CDMs in the world, really. And we've seen the standard of Barcelona, Real Madrid, the Italian leagues. I mean, I believe the British teams are going to win all the cups in Europe this season, I reckon. I think Bayern and PSG are the only two that are half decent, really. But PSG, you saw their result at the weekend. So I think you saw the England at the Euros. I don't like Southgate. That's a different story. But you can see that this is the best league in the world. Even the national team, the players coming through are up there. He's a regular in that England team. How many times can we say that about our players in the past? West Ham getting England team is very difficult. Okay, I mean, you probably discuss later on, should he get more goals? The first thing is he does his bread and butter first, isn't he? He mops up the tackles, makes sure there's a bit of solid person there ahead of the back four, makes their job a lot easier. No, there's not much more you can hope for, especially at that age. I mean, I think a number of players have come up to me and said, we were nowhere near you, mate, your age. You just,
Sorry. Do you think though, Jazz, that, and I asked Andy this and all, do you think that it takes away the element of him? I know we want him to score goals, I understand that, but his defensive play is just perfect. Like, he's, as a defensive midfielder, he's up there, isn't he? As one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, do we really want him to go forward as much? And it stops him from being the defensive midfielder that we all know. That makes sense. I'll ask Andy that first.
It depends who he's got aside him, mate, to be honest. Like, I agree, like, the start of this season, I know Souček's got a lot of stick. deservedly so. But it seems like they seem to be taking it in turns. But I think if Deck's playing with Krau, and obviously like he did with Noble last week when he was getting more forward, he is effective. But I think that sort of depends who he's playing with. I could see if Souček's been given a rest and Krau's there, Krau will sit there, and I can see Deck getting them goals. But with Souček, I think they need to. Souček needs to sort of take control, if you know what I mean, because Souček's more of a threat going forward. So you've got to get that balance, but you never know. Moyes may change the system and have them as a three: Krau, Noble, and Souček, and both of them bombing into the box. So I think he's got the quality, and it's just getting that balance right with the team as well as Deck.
What about you, Jez? Do you think the goals? Would you rather have Declan score more goals or be more effective as a DM?
I'm happy with his the DM work he does, but what I'm thinking this season is that I'm going to watch Souček more closely this season now to see what he does. I think perhaps last season I could be wrong that the goals may have hid his all-round game. So if he scored, I didn't look at anything else he did. That was good enough for me. He defends well. I don't know if he's out of form. I don't know, like you said, do we need a different player alongside Rice sometimes, perhaps? It's just not happening for him. It's very early days in the season. It's just not happening. And, yeah, he doesn't score, and perhaps it puts that more in light, really. But, yeah, he's not had a good start to the season. Perhaps we needed him on Sunday. I didn't see much from him. Rice was just trying to, like he said, forget defending, which he's doing anyway. He's trying to start every attack as well. And I'm like, I know you got a lot of energy on you. You got such a good engine. You're very young, but you're going to go away for England again. And I don't want you burning yourself out or having an injury that we might miss him, which I think we could have got in the Champions League. I think we would have made it, mate, if Rice carried on and didn't get that England injury. So the question is linked to his partner, like Andy said, I think. If we want him to do bloody hell a bit more than what he's doing, then you're going to need to find the ideal partner for him. And then do we really need two CDMs? I mean, Souček, is he really a CDM, or is he just a bit like Gus Pye at Chelsea, just getting so many goals, 9 or 10 a season, and that was his game, full stop? Or do we need to get someone, a younger Lanzini next to him in the middle, who can stick his foot in, but then he's got a bit more to his game, long range passes, short range. You know, like the Wolves guys in the middle, the Portuguese types they used to have in the middle.
Someone who's more technical, basically a technical player.
I think we need someone like that next to Rice because this Premier League's going to test you, mate, as we know. And I think we had one of those clever Portuguese players in the middle against, say, when we've come unstuck at Brentford, Palace, Southampton. Get the ball, put his foot on it, dictate the play, give it to the front four. I think Souček ain't doing it, mate. And because of that, it's made me think.
You make a valid point, though. You do make a valid point there. Like last season, was we not looking at Souček all-round game? Like when he scored, we would praise him for scoring a goal. And go, oh, nice one. Like he's great. He's this Souček. But I've found, and I don't know whether you lads will agree, but this season, when he's pressed by other teams, he's poor. He sort of gets flustered under pressure. And with Rice, he doesn't. When he's getting pressed, he's got the sort of quality to get out of them sort of positions.
Yeah. To be honest, I think the way we've performed this year, it's not just Souček. It's been a few others. I think teams are approaching us in a different way. Like you give Southampton, for example. Southampton played us on. I know they've done well, but they just sat back and hit us on the counter. Crystal Palace, exactly the same thing. They were effective. So yeah, I think we've got to give credit. Well, not credit to the team because of the way teams are playing against us. Even at the back end of last season, teams must have thought, "Oh, West Ham are going to burn out," but we had enough to get through. But I think now they've sat there and they're studying us even more, and they're treating us like a top side, like a Man City not a Man City, but you know what I mean. Like they're in a different breed, but you know what I mean.
I agree. That sort of low block when we try and go up against that sort of team who try to sit back, I've noticed this season Southampton was one of them, and obviously Palace was another one. They sort of sat there and wait to hit us on the break, whereas last season we was hitting other teams on the break, so to speak. So, yeah, I do agree. It's a bit of a concern though, because for how well we love Rice and we do love him, the pair of them come as a package. And what do? Do you take Suchik out, put Crow in, and then that sort of stops the threat from midfield if Rice doesn't start scoring? Do you know what I mean? So it is a bit of a concern. But moving on to this question,
I've got a stat for you as well, James. While I've been working it out, while you've been talking. So Declan Rice in all competitions for West Ham, so that's including the under-23s, he's played 137 games, 7 goals and 9 assists. Yeah, he's played 15,688 minutes. That's an average 83 minutes per game.
God, that's an engine, isn't it? Let's be honest.
So when you think of it like that, he's not just an impact sub. That's 83 minutes. So average 83 minutes a game he plays.
So basically, he's as good as playing a game. He's playing every. And that's only 83 minutes, but you know what I'm saying? Like 7 minutes off a full game every time, isn't it? So, yeah, he's a phenomenal player, mate. He really is. But I'm going to get to this question that I want to put to you. Is this: what is Declan Rice's current value? If you was a manager and you was looking for a DM, how much would you be prepared? Take your West Ham hats off. How much would you be prepared to spend on Declan Rice?
130. 130 I'd pay.
I'm between, me personally, I'm between 110 and 130. I think if someone come in and said, we'll give you 115 million for Declan Rice, that's a player they've got for the next 10 years. And when you sort of work it out, £15 million a year for a player who don't really get injured, and they just done the stats on it, he plays near enough 83 minutes of every game near enough. I think it's, I mean, if you were selling him, then that is the value that I would go with. Jazz, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, they want 150, 160 for... I know it's a different position, Kane, a different age. I mean, you got to imagine if he was a Spurs player. Imagine Levy trying to manage him. So I would say starting from 110. And then it all depends on whether we want someone from that buying club as part exchange. Got to make sure we get the resale things in there, you know, sell on clauses.
Add a sell on clause. Yeah. Do what other teams do to us. Do you know what I mean? Add the sell on clause. And to be honest, I'm a bit wary of adding players into the deal. For me.
Yeah.
And if we do sell him, I hope the club's proactive and we spend before we sell him. Because as soon as people know Declan Rice is gone, they're going to add 15-20% on every transfer, and then we're not going to get. It's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Thing is, it's very hard to replace him. And what would be your value, Andy? If you used to place a value on him, and if a bid come in and they accepted it, what would you be? Obviously, you don't want to lose this man. I don't ever want to lose this man, but he's that good. I don't think we're going to be able to keep him like in years to come. So what would be a satisfied figure, in your opinion?
The way you've got to see it is, I think 130 is my minimum, to be perfectly honest. I wouldn't even... But then you're saying that, like what you're saying, 150 million, that's 15 a year. That don't even justify it. When you see the likes of Coutinho, what they've went for, I know it's a different position. Dex 1 in a million, and we're going to say it because it's true. And he's English. That adds more money than what it is as well. I don't know what it is with, but I remember you was on Daya's show, wasn't it? I think I was commenting. If he does want to leave, I'd love him to go abroad. I don't want him to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I
think if it would, I don't know about you, but seeing him in a Manchester United shirt or a Chelsea shirt would just gut wrenching for me. And do you know what? We've lost a lot of good players in the past. Like we go back to the sort of the 2003 relegation era, and we had like Defoe, Carrick, Canute, even. We had all them sort of players in that sort of like great players. but we lost them. But it hurt at the time, but I don't think it would hurt as much as if we lost this man, because it's what he brings to our squad. What do you think, Jazz?
I think going back to my age and memories, losing Paul Ince was quite a big thing on me. I was 15, 16 at the time, and got 2 million for him in instalments. Absolute. I think we got even less than him in the end because we wanted it all up front, and they bought Roy Keane after that. Losing him, would be hard. I mean, looking at replacements, I think I mentioned to Andy before, Basuma at Brighton, he's half decent. Yeah. I mean, people look at Ward-Prowse and Ndidi's quite good, but he's at Leicester now, so it has to be Basuma, I suppose. The one at Arsenal, Partey, doesn't impress me at the moment anyway. So like you said, if you're going to sell him, like a Brentford, for example, they're scouting. We need to get that person, already in our team, like Villa bought. They spent the Grealish money more or less before anyway, didn't they? Because then I suppose,
I think this Newman is a coup. I think that's. I know everyone says that just think a lot of them players like the Fernandinhos and the people like that who people never heard of, and all of a sudden they are, and obviously he's got them contacts. As losing Deck is like depressing and sad, but I trust him to bring some players in who would be a gem like what Leicester have had with Kante, for example. I'm not that, but losing Deck will hurt me, but I'm not as worried.
I think if we lost him, as long as we bought in the right positions and progressed as a club, I don't think any West Ham fan would be disappointed in that, if that makes sense. We got 125 million, as someone rightfully put in the chat here. It said, Hammerhead says, you can't say Rice is worth any less than 125 million at present, which I can't not disagree with that. But if the money was spent in the right areas, then I think we would all be happy. But would you not agree, Jez?
Yeah, you have to let him go, don't you, after a certain amount of time. I think he's got 3 years left, option of a 4th. Touchwood, whoever his agent is, he's not making any noises at the moment, really happy. Yeah, you got to leave in the right way. I'm sure he will, and he'll give reasonable years of service to us. I think he's done, 3 seasons already, isn't he? Something like that. Yeah. So you don't want to move like Ince or Defoe or people like that. Then hands up. It all depends on what we're doing ourselves. I mean, at the moment, thankfully, you got into Europa. That's kept his interest up, and looks like we're going to progress into the last 16. Fingers crossed. Anything's possible. We're still in the League Cup. I know it's City, but we're still in there. Yeah, as long as you keep showing that you're progressing, and that's why he's so happy with what's happening at the moment. I don't know what would happen if we had a really, really, say, average below par season. Then obviously players don't have patience these days. So to keep him at a club, you got to keep doing what we're doing. And at the moment, minimum Europe. He will not be happy if we don't qualify for Europe next season, I think. So you got to keep him. Yeah.
I think the thing what will worry me, Jazz, is if he signs a new deal. I want him to sign a deal next summer now.
Yeah,
he signs a deal, there's going to be a release clause in it.
That's
what's worrying me. Right, I think if we keep him till at least the summer before he signs it, if he does sign a new deal, I think that'll be a lot better.
The thing is, what I find with him, and I do, is that I think he goes and walks in any team. But is he? How can I put this? I think he's Man City bound, if I'm honest. I've always said that ever since when I knew Fernandinho was going to retire. What an ideal replacement! You go and take Fernandinho out, and you go and put Declan Rice in there. It's just, and they've got the money to match. Like Manchester United could probably match it, but Manchester United look in other areas. Like they can't go out and keep spending hundreds of millions each time. They're going to want to return, isn't it? So. I don't know. It's an interesting one with Declan.
I think next summer it's all about Haaland. I think, isn't it? Where's he going to go?
Yeah.
Wherever he goes, that's someone's pot gone for the year and a half, isn't it? Whatever.
Yeah. I don't think he goes Chelsea. I think I think personally he's been burnt by Chelsea in the past, and he's thought right, and that's why he's got a lot of respect for West Ham. I think also he respects West Ham a hell of a lot. I don't think he's the type of lad to put in a transfer request to us because we've given him the platform to be the player he's become, basically. So
I don't think anyone does that these days. It's been a while because they lose their money, don't they? They do it other ways, like they start to sulk and go on a train. But yeah, no one bloody does it. Even Kane used to be very common back in the day. Push it through, but yeah.
And to sort of, I've got a final question before we sort of come towards the end. And this is my own personal question, but do we win something why Declan Rice is at this club? And I'll start off with Jazz on that one. And Jazz,
he avoided the question. That's how he avoids the question.
Oh, that's a brilliant one. He avoided it just in time. Well, Andy, I hand it over to you, mate. Well, Jazz to reappear.
Yeah, I think we are going to win a trophy this year. I don't know what one it is, but I think it's made in the stars with Noble last year and all that, and I've still got that feeling. I don't know. I think Moyes has took it. I think Europa League's ours. I really do. And I don't know about you gents, but if we, I'll take flipping 17th with a Europa League win. I know it'll be squeaky bum time in the end, but anything. But I think Moyes. I think January's key. If we spend well in January, the world's our oyster.
Yeah,
and we can achieve.
I actually fully agree with you there, 100%. I said January last season was the biggest window to try and get into Europe, either Champions League or Europa. I think this January is going to be even bigger than that, because I honestly do believe, before I hand it over to Jazz, that we win every game in the Europa League group competition, like group stages. Right, so I think we get out the group comfortably. Right, then you're 4 games away from a trophy in Champions League, and I think we'd all take that, wouldn't we? Let's be honest. At the start, what do you reckon, Jazz? Declan Rice, does he lead us to silverware?
The way it stands at the moment, I can't say yes with confidence because I'm worried about Vlasic. If he hit the ground running and was a 33 million pound player, I would have said yes. But as it stands, having watched Brentford, watched the Man United game, 2 home losses, nothing on the bench, no left back to come in and help Cressy. Antonio, all these bloody hell, the same thing again as last season. That's my worry, James. If we had a left back, a better striker, and a better Vlasic, I would have said we're going to win something. My worry is it's the same team as last season again, and that's my worry, mate. We're not improved in numbers. Zuma's definitely improved us, but David should have done a bit better, I think, in the window up to now.
I agree.
With the 33 million what we've spent, we could have paid that for St. Maximin from Newcastle. Premier League proven. I think Newcastle would have accepted that. It probably wouldn't have gone well, but Mike Ashley would have. I know they were paying them 50 million and all that, but if we offered what we've paid for Vlasic, proven, it excites you. Do you know what I mean? Someone on the ball with pace, and he terrorised us, didn't he? On day, and I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to target. I still think Lingard will come in. I know this is Declan Rice. I still think Lingard's going to come in.
Yeah, if Lingard's in, he can prove us a lot.
Did you see him today on Instagram with Dec? That back with my mate and all that. So I can see that. I can see that happening. But yeah, like you said, statement of intent: go out and get Premier League proven players, and you're laughing.
Also, you bring up a good valid point there. Declan Rice sort of attracts players to the club. Also, if we keep this man and he's happy, we can give him the requirements that he needs. He will get us players of quality at this club. It's just down to us to sort of pay the money and get them. Let's be honest. With Declan, I think he's got that pull about him that when you look at the 2 midfielders, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, who would you rather go and play for? you're going to want to play for Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? Because if he's the way he comes across, I actually believe he's future England captain. Also, I think he's he's a born leader, mate. And the sooner Kane gives up the captaincy, the better. Because I think if Declan Rice is captain, I think we win something internationally and all. So yeah. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, on Mr. Declan Rice?
Yeah. Would you take a loss? See, for me, I know this is all about that. You mentioned him earlier, Jazz, and I think they'll be a great as a two together. If a decent offer comes in for Souček, I wouldn't think twice. It sounds very harsh on Thomas. I mean, but if I would, I'll go and the money you get for Thomas, I'll go and get Ward-Prowse. I know he signed a new deal with Southampton, but I could see that and imagine Deck and Ward-Prowse delivery on the ball, and imagine them as a two. I think they'll be outstanding. Ward-Prowse is suspended. This is his first game he's going to miss for Southampton in 2.5 years. He's played every minute as well. Another player who never gets injured.
Do you think it's an R1 with Souček because we know how good he can be, but is it like sort of go off topic a little bit here? Is it the fact that the role he's playing now isn't his role? Like he's playing a completely different role. He's actually playing as a defensive midfielder, and Rice is playing more advanced. If they were to swap that around, do you think we would get the best of Thomas Souček again?
I don't think it's that different. I thought they just take turns. Like you go, I'll stay behind. I don't think we have to think that hard about it. I mean, I do see Souček go out for corners and crosses. It's just not happening. I do see him in there. Just not happening for him.
And I've got to agree that the delivery's been fucking atrocious this year.
yeah.
All the short corners and flipping God knows. Just did it on the money and we'll score. We proved it 17 times last year.
Is that also, that's another good valid point that you bring up there. Obviously, Crefel and Creswell are crossers of the ball, so to speak. And Cresswell this year hasn't been up to it crossing-wise, I must admit. Like, he's one good crossing, two bad ones. I'll be honest with you, for how much I love Crefel, he hasn't been great sort of crossing balls in. Is that another factor why sort of Souček isn't cutting it, so to speak?
Yeah, but I don't notice him, James, either. When he's not scoring, I don't notice him. I think, like, and he's right. He struggles to win the ball back at times, and I see Declan. Yeah, every minute I see what he's doing. I don't see Souček a lot. He's not very visible for me, and there's been too many of those players recently, and I'm just worried that we haven't changed it enough to go forward. And you got a bit of that, and you got a bit of David Moyes being too loyal, perhaps, and that's something Alex Ferguson never used to do. Always bring in two, and sometimes if someone even got too confident, take him out of the team. Bring him back 3 games later. That way, you always freshen it up. So, I'm concerned about our transfer market. I'm concerned about David not making any changes again. I'm concerned about the bench; just looks boring, same as last season.
I've just had a look. Yeah, so Kufal's got 1 assist, and that was for Antonio. No goals, and Creswell was no assist, but 1 goal at Newcastle. Considering they had the 18 whatever it was between them last year, so it's definitely a downgrade.
So James, when we finished third in '86, we didn't buy anyone, and we were second after 3 games. So the momentum the following season kept it, but after that, after about now, it was the biggest drop we'd ever seen in '87. We were like just one way it went, and with Europa, League Cup, we're 9th now. But I look at Villa's squad, I look at Arsenal looking dangerous, Spurs still not bad. I know we take the mick out of them. You see Brentford, Brighton, Everton 5th with 4 players out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard getting into Europe very early, but I don't see any spark when the normal 10-11 get tired and we need something else. I don't see that something else anywhere, which our new signings should have brought in, mate.
Yeah, I actually agree. Really do. I really do. I think, and what you're saying is absolutely bang on the money. When you look at the bench just doesn't look like it. Just looks like the same bench as last year. Do you know what I mean? And There's just no freshness there. Like, let's be honest, if we're relying on Yarmolenko to come on and do a job, then we must start praying, all of us. Do you know what I mean?
But how does it look when Man United, I mean, one or two other games, Vlasic just sits there, crowd doesn't even come on. I mean, what does that say? I mean, I don't understand it, mate. To me,
and I'll ask all your thoughts on this, and I'm going to ask your thoughts on the upcoming game with Everton in a minute. But to me, it's like he's got no faith on his bench. And that to me proves a lot. Like Krell, I don't understand why Krell hasn't played 1 minute of football in the Premier League. Can't work that one out. Vlasic, people say you need to give him time, but what people got to understand is when Ben Rama goes in January to the African Cup of Nations, we need him to play. And we need him to perform. Like, we can't have a player who's on work experience. We need a player who's going to come in and do the job, innit? So I agree with you, really do. What do you think, Andy? Before I move on,
yeah. See, Crow, I think that's what done me was on Thursday night when Crow didn't play and Noble did.
Yeah,
I know it was all for the, but I won't judge Moyes because Rapid Vienna was meant to be the easiest one out of. I know they were ranked higher, but they're meant to be the easiest one out of the three. So if Noble starts the next Europa instead of Crow, and then that's when I'd worry.
Yeah, I agree. But moving on to Everton away quickly before we sort of come towards the end. Was I shocked how bad we was? Yeah, but was I shocked how good Brentford was in the last game? No. Brentford are a good side, and obviously I've been calling for people like Ivan Toney in this team and Rico Henry. But we move on now to Everton. Jazz, what do you reckon in this game? This is a place we never win. We never win at Everton.
It was very difficult. You look at what they paid for Townsend, which is nothing, and Gray. They're ripping up at the moment, even though they got 3-4 injuries. Rafa settled in really well. Just got to say, a draw at best, mate. For me, a draw at best. I think the way we're playing, unless something changes and we look fresh after international, which I can't see. I think David's going to have the same team as the last 3 games, mate. It's going to be the same. And the draw for me, I think, is very difficult. I think my head is saying we're going to lose. My heart's just trying to be just comforting and saying it's a draw, mate. But my head's telling me we're going to lose. I know they've got a lot of injuries, so I don't know if Calvin Lewin, if he's going to be back for that or not. I know I just read somewhere that Everton in January are going to go in for Van der Beek from Man United in January because I don't think they've spent that much money Everton anyway, and they've got really rich owners. It looks like it's a draw / defeat for me, mate. It's just I don't know. Yeah,
we won last year when we played terrible. When Suchek getting a late winner, and I think it will be like that. To be perfectly honest, we've got a big week. We've got a big week.
We just looked a bit tired. Yeah, I don't know.
Got Everton, Genk, and then Tottenham. If I offered you it, I'll take 2 draws. To be honest, out of Everton and Tottenham. But we have to see. Obviously, we're going to do. We'll probably get you on, James, as well. We're doing a Hammer Watch. I'm doing a show tomorrow to let everyone know what the international players are up to, and then I'm going to review it before our next game. We can sort of probably judge it because I'll do how many minutes each of them play and stuff like that. If Suchek plays, I think they've got 3 games as well. If he plays 270 minutes, then my opinion might change for Everton. I'm just giving him as an example. Because West Ham, we've got to do what Man United do. What about Greenwood and all that? All of a sudden, dropping out with an injury or something like that. We've got to be like, mate. No, they're not playing all 3 games. I don't care if you need to qualify. You need to pick others. We've got to be like a Man United.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm glad Kufal done the right thing because he wasn't fit on Sunday. I think we all could see it from wherever he was on this planet. You could see that man wasn't fit. But final question to you lads: what changes would you make for Everton, Jazz, and I'll ask you, Jez, first, and I'll leave the final word to Andy. What changes need to be done?
I'll bring Areola in, but that's my personal opinion. I'll bring Areola in.
Does Krell come in for Souček, Jez?
Not starting yet, but I don't understand why he doesn't come on after 60 minutes if nothing's working. So I'd still keep Souček in there, but Krell has to play some part, especially we haven't won 2 to 3 games. I'm thinking Vlasic. I mean, do you really want to take your time with a 33-year-old till next year? I don't know. We're not that type of club. We can't afford to be like Man United, where every sub's 80 million. But then who do I drop out for now? Bowen or because no matter what you say, they're all trying, they're all working their guts out. But you remember in January how Lingard came in, and if we had Lingard, we would have got points at Brentford and Man United. I'm pretty certain of that.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I want from Vlasic. We should be able to rest the front three at any point. I'm trying to think. Again, I think with Vlasic, I don't want to start him. I want to bring him on after 60, and I said, show me. I wouldn't start with him or Krell. I haven't seen enough of Vlasic to warrant a start, to be fair. And Krell, from what pedigree I do know, he's not really better than Souček, but for some games he should be able to start. But for now, I'll bring him on after 60 minutes, both of them really. And that might be if we're winning or doing whatever. We have to rest some players. If we're winning, just take them off 65 minutes and we'll see how it goes. Doesn't mean we're changing formations. We're just changing player for player, same position. And that player should be able to hold their own, So new goalkeeper. And one more thing I thought about, actually depends on Everton's striker. Then Dupe, I think I might bring him in instead of Ogbonna. I think I might bring Dupe in because I think this is the future. I think these two monsters. And I think Dupe, his confidence has gone down. It's gone up now, and I wouldn't want it going down again. He's shown me enough, yeah. And Ogbonna, just a little bit off it, not too much. So, new goalkeeper, new centre-back, and definitely bring those new boys in after 60 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Andy, what do you think, mate? What changes for you?
Yeah, Areola for me. I got a lot of stick again as well after my comments, what I made about Fabianski. In my opinion, what he done for that second goal, I think that's embarrassing. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree.
The first one, he was very unlucky. It was a very good save, but he sort of parried it out, didn't he? He didn't parry it wide.
I think the first one, just to sort of interrupt you there, Andy, I think the first one was more defensive. I mean, great save, but where is Angelo Abone? He's watching them, bam, I run straight past him. But the second one is criminal, mate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree with Jazz. I think I'll give up Bonner a rest for me, and I'll get Diop and Zuma's relationship up because if they play well at Everton, that will give them great confidence because they're both young and they could play 3 games in 6 days. They could play Everton, Genk and Spurs. Then you haven't got to worry enough. I can't remember what show you said it on, James, and I agree. The fact that we keep changing the back four and the goalkeeper is just not. We're not getting no consistency, and the relationship's not gonna get any better. So yeah, I would have them as a back two. With obviously Creswell, and if Soufal's back fit, then I would play him. And I would actually go 4-5-1. I would actually play Krause, Souček, and Rice as a 3. And Ben Rama on the left, Bowen on the right, and Antonio up front. I'll give Fornals a rest because the way it looks like, I think he's playing tonight. He's going to be playing 270. I think the Spanish love him now. I think he's going to be featuring a lot for them, and not that he deserves to be dropped, but you've got to do something different. Pack the midfield out free because Decore and Allen, they're probably one of the most aggressive midfield players you can, and if we outnumber them as a 3 in the middle, we've got half a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. I agree with both of you. I think Fabianski, to sort of have my round up on it, Fabianski's for the first goal was unlucky, I thought. He done a good save, but where's the defending? But the second goal's criminal. And it's time for Areola. We all know, as West Ham fans, he's a better goalkeeper than Fab. I think we all, like any West Ham fan, can see that. But he needs to be given a chance.
Yeah, I think they'll both be French, wouldn't you? French centre backs, French goalie.
Yeah.
And going back to Marzi, that's the team we should have played at Brentford with the three in there, 3 TDMs. Yeah, that would have worked really well, I think, at Brentford. Yeah.
I think Diop needs to come in. I think Diop and Zuma, the French three, I'll call them.
Yeah.
Areola.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of relationship, you build a connection. This sort of Thursday, Sunday, rotating the centre halves, it can affect your back line, especially when you've got Cresswell playing every game near enough. And Cafal and Cresswell played with 4 different centre halves right now. Do you know what I mean? Mixed up. And it's just not good. Obviously, the Everton game, then we've got Genk, then we've got Spurs. I think if we can get 4 points, get a point at Everton and beat Spurs, because I don't want to lose against them. I really don't.
No.
That's the one I just do not want to lose.
Son is the one, and he's on fire. Yeah.
It would surprise me if Kane turns up for that one against us. He hasn't done nothing all season. He turns up against. Yeah. And to sort of round it off, it'd be 1 year and 1 day to the Lanzini Screamer.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's hope he can do it again, but as a winning goal. Do you know what I mean? But final thoughts, gentlemen. Anything that you would like to discuss before we go?
No, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I think this international break's come at a good time for us, to be honest. I know they say for confidence, you don't want to go into an international break with a loss, but I think, like you said, we've got the mentality. It doesn't really matter no more. A few years ago, it would have. It was like, oh, we've lost, and then we've got that. I think a lot of them, the likes of Krez, Antonio not going away, is doing us a favour. 2 weeks rest, and hopefully all them come firing back, and we'll be happy hammers again.
Yeah, and Jez.
I don't want us to lose touch with the European spots when the next window happens. I think we're hanging in there. And it's obvious now we haven't done enough in the window, and I'm just hoping we're still in touching line of the top 7, because we need those extra bodies over the line in January. It's silly even thinking about it now, but it's obvious, isn't it, James? We just didn't, and I'm just hoping these players have got enough in them in terms of an engine and don't get injured, that we can just keep chucking away, getting the odd win, the odd draw here and there, keep progressing in the Europa. And just, if we can still hang in 8th, 9th, 7th, I'll be over the moon, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts at the moment, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. I think just make sure we get through the qualifying of the Europa, hang in there till January, and come the 1st of January, I want to see progression. I want to see a striker at this club to help Antonio out, because when he goes missing, we go missing. And there's a few times this season where we've gone missing. Southampton away being one of them, and even against Brentford, like just lack of threat there. And he needs help. And I do agree, totally do. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Anyone who's watching this now, and that's where you can find them on Twitter and YouTube. West Ham Reunited.
Finally got a custom URL today. I think you can get yours now. Yours has been 30 days, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can change yours now as well, instead of all that random gibberish.
Well, that's all right. What result that is? DM me for more details, please. But listen, go and find them over there. They're doing some good stuff, and they're doing unique stuff, I call it. Different aspects from different fan channels and different content, basically. So go and find the boys over there and subscribe and like their stuff. Thanks, gentlemen. I really do appreciate it.
No, it's been great.
Do you know what I mean? And that's been Declan Rice from me. I'll be back again soon. I've got another one lined up that I'm going to be looking at doing, just the final stages of sorting everything out, and I'll get guests on again. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what I do, give it a subscribe. It really goes away, helps me out greatly. Subscribe to them boys too, and it helps us all
buy from Deck as well.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
And, he's giving you that look, James. Look, really?
He's giving that look. Yeah, he's giving us that look that he's got the ump because he hasn't won a game. But yeah, as I say, go and do all that sort of stuff. Also, finally, before I go, I just want to give a little shout out to Jake. He's unwell at the minute. He couldn't come on tonight, and he's a bit poorly. But listen, he will get well soon, and that's why he's not here with us tonight. But yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot, everyone. Take care, and bye for now.